Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review for episode 6 of Houseki no Kuni, or Land of the Lustrous. Sorry if the lighting is absolutely terrible, but I'm recording this at night. But I think that this may be my favorite episode so far, maybe the best episode so far. I really like the one with Foss and the Slug King, whatever. I really like that episode, but this one may be beating it out. This one I think is maybe the best by far, just because the animation has been good, and I've said that they've made the most I think I've ever seen anyone make out of 3D CG animation, and they've made a really good looking art style and really great animation out of it. But holy damn, this episode was so much more detailed and so much better than even any of the past ones have been. And I think just that step up in production quality, keeping with the story still being super unique and super interesting, is what put it on that next level for me. And that's the thing with the series, it's like, it's so unique and interesting. Nothing is normal and human about it. We get to see this race of people that's different than humanity at a very, I guess, core level. Everything about them is different pretty much. And they're sentient. It's like, it's so cool because they're sentient ruling beings on Earth or whatever. They're the top life form where they live right now. But there's so much human about them, but at the same time nothing is human about them, which I just think it's so great. It's great that we don't have to have that vanilla bland, because you know, even with series like that, when you have like a series about I don't know a good example, but I'm watching Sengoku Nightblood, so like, even if it's about vampires or werewolves or something, you're pretty much always seeing the story through the eyes of the normal bland human character, but this is completely without that. This is a world untouched by having to see it through human eyes. We're seeing it through eyes completely different than what we as viewers, how we see the world. So I think it's so cool and unique. It's so great. And even we still have so much to learn about the Lunarians and the Admirabilis. It's so good. But back on the topic of this episode, it was great. I loved it. The characters were great. Like I said, the production quality, such a step up. And even then, it was a step up from production quality that's already really great. Opening and ending, so I don't have to talk about them anymore later in the review. They're both great still. I think they've even grown on me even more than they had already been things that I enjoyed. Opening and ending are great. So let's start from the beginning. Yellow Diamond is fighting some Lunarians. That's all cool. Great animation, all that. Zircon, the Sensei, Jade, and Euclase all come in to help, and Zircon gets pretty messed up. We find out that she is the second youngest. She's taken to a sleepy Rutiel to be patched back up. But Rutiel is, of course, still sleepy because she had to stay up so long, stay up so late, putting Foss back together and fixing her legs. They then notice that Foss is missing, so Yellow Diamond runs off to go find her. But I'm skipping ahead a little bit. But we find out during the conversation between Rutiel and Yellow Diamond that Yellow Diamond has had partners that were named Green Diamond, Ruby, Sapphire, and Pink Topaz, and all four of those are former partners of her that have been taken to the moon. So that's really cool, because we know now we have 4 named characters that have been taken to the moon. We heard that there were members of their race that were taken to the moon to be used in jewelry or whatever else, but actually giving those characters names adds another level to it. So I really like that. Yellow Diamond says that she is now 3,597 years old. Of course, the oldest, I believe. I don't know if that's the oldest other than the Master. I would think so. I wouldn't think that that's including the Master, because if she's older than him, then why is he the Master? But either way, it starts to get rainy, and they say that it's time for them to take a break and start preparing for hibernation. So we now know that hibernation might be a thing with them, which makes sense since they feed off of sunlight. They obviously probably can't be as active during the winter. It just wouldn't work for energy for them. And then when Yellow Diamond runs off to go find Foss, Diamond, that scene that we saw from the promo last week, holy god, Diamond. Yeah. Yellow runs off from them looking for Foss, tells Diamond and Bortz to go help out, do whatever. Foss says that she is so fast she can't stop when Yellow Diamond finally catches up to her. She's like, I can't control my legs, I can't stop. But then, after that, of course, she is stopped by Yellow Diamond, taken back to the Master, and they all talk. They pretty much say that Foss has strong inclusions. They all do, but the thing is, or inclusions, occlusions, whatever they call them, I think it's inclusions, but she has strong ones, like every other member of this rock people race. But the thing with it is that those strong inclusions are living within a material, phosphophylite, that isn't very strong. So if you put those strong things that have been in a weak material, and now you introduce this strong material for them to live in, it sort of brings out the strength in them now that they have a material more fitting for their strength. And that's why her legs are super strong now. They give her a blade from obsidian, so now we know obsidian makes their blades. And even their smallest one is way super heavy, so Foss has trouble even lifting it. But throughout the episode, it seems like it gets super easy for her to lift later on. So Foss is then paired with Amethyst for now. We find out that she's lost 1/3 of her members, or 1/3 of her memories. Why did I think because I glanced at that and read it wrong, it threw me all off balance. But she lost 1/3 of her memories. We know that from last week. But we find out now that it includes memories that she just made, things she just saw when she was dealing with the king and all that. So now she doesn't even remember all that super important stuff, which is a little bit disappointing. You know, it works because it sort of lets us fans, us viewers, know stuff from watching it instead of just being told in a narration, which is really, really cool. It lets us know in the story without giving Foss too much information so that she can still learn it again and grow later on. So yeah, it's what it is. I don't know. I like this direction that they're taking with Foss, where we saw her in the first 5 episodes. She was not really a fighter. Her story was going in a different direction. It was almost, in her opinion, the character's own opinion, she would have been directionless. But now she's actually able to start fighting, and she's starting to grow from somewhere else. From, I don't want to say nothing, but she's growing from a non-combat character to a combat one, getting stronger in order to face this enemy. So it's sort of a cool thing where we've seen a lot of that in shonen and stuff, where you get your character who's trying to fight an enemy and they start building powers over time, but they add a little bit of power or whatever to start with. Where Foss, we saw that she didn't have any, and we didn't know she was going to have any, because instead of giving it to her the first episode, they've waited all the way until like the 6th, which I think is great. So I like the slow build for her character. Yeah. Also, one thing, the Master does seem to be a bit perturbed at her knowing what humans are, so that seems to be a secret that he's keeping from the rest of them. Again, I think, like I said last week, he's kind of sketchy, but like a lot of people brought up in the comments, and like I think myself, he probably has good personal reasons for wanting to keep that from him. But I personally am for the freedom of information. Let them know, because it could be dangerous if you don't. Like, what they don't know can very much hurt them. Without crucial information on humans or Lunarians or the Admirabilis, what if they were attacked in some sort of different way and the Master was asleep again or something and couldn't help them? They kind of need that information to best make the decisions on how they want to do things. Being kept in the dark like this, I don't think is good for them. But either way, moving along from that, we learned that Amethyst is a Master Swordswoman. She is 2 bodies in one. She's one person with 2 bodies, and they call themselves Amethyst 84 and 33. So I'm wondering, are there like a bunch of other Amethysts? Were there a bunch of other ones in the past? Or is it just that their body splits and there's Amethyst 1 and 2, and then if one of them gets destroyed, the other one just spawns a new one. It's like, yo, I'm Amethyst 3, and then 3 gets destroyed, and then they have 2 and 4, and then maybe they have 4 and 5, and that just keeps happening until they have 33 and 84, the current 2 Amethysts. So maybe that's how it works. We find out they have morning meetings. We've never actually seen them do that before because we're seeing things from Foss's point of view, and she's never actually been a part of those. But Foss, in that scene where she's with Amethyst and she has the sword hanging off, hello, they sort of did the same thing with her that they did with Diamond toward the beginning of the episode, but I'm not complaining. Hello, Foss. They're assigned to the Western Plateau on Foss's first day teamed up with them. And they mentioned that winter will be coming soon. They're assigned the next day to go collect seeds for the white powder. The Lunarians attack. The animation, holy shit, this animation was probably the best they've had in the show so far. When the sunspot was forming and the Lunarians were showing up out of it, that was so friggin' cool. So we go from that, and it looked incredible, to them fighting. And the fighting looked really good, and then bam, weapon made out of blue stone that I'm thinking, hey, maybe it's sapphire. Sapphire is a blue thing. So they get attacked by that, all munched up and friggin' demolished, which was just great. The way they had the music was so, I don't know, the music was just so big and heavy, and seeing Foss's face and the helplessness with her, it was all really, really great. Bortz jumps in and fights the thing, defeats it. Diamond and Zircon are collecting pieces, and just holy shit, the music and animation right there at the end with the master, where we see the gems forming around him and he says, I'm sorry, or you poor thing, or whatever, and completely blast the Lunarian into this black mist. It was so good looking. The animation, like I said, was such a step up this week. And Bort's still kind of stupid. Bortz isn't the brightest. I've said a couple times throughout the series I'm not really into Bortz. They're kind of a bitch for the sake of being a character that's bitchy. Like, there's no real reason for her to be mad at Foss there, or to yell, what did you do, or explain yourself. Whatever they yelled at Foss at the end, there's no real reason for that, because it was established that Amethyst was one of their best swordsmen, swordswomen, Swordsrocks. They were one of their best Swordsrocks, and they got demolished by this thing. So if they're one of the best swords people and they get demolished, what is Foss going to do? Hell, what are 90% of them going to do, really? Unless you're like Diamond or Bortz or Yellow Diamond, or even then Yellow Diamond's more of a runner than a fighter, she even said herself. Unless you're like Diamond or Bortz, what are you going to do against this thing? Why would she be mad at Foss for this? There's like absolutely nothing Foss could have done, and at least she stayed back and didn't get destroyed herself. Like, I don't get Bortz's problem here. I think this was the best episode by far, though. The emotions were good, the animation was incredible, it was better than usual, and that's saying something since it's great usually. The character growth for Foss here was just so great. I love how we had that slow build, and now we have her trying out the whole combat thing, and maybe even finding out it's not for her this episode. We don't really know how she's going to react to this, but it was great. But now that they have defeated that thing and they have some of this blue stone, I'm wondering if that is sapphire, or maybe it's like, what else is a blue stone? Lapis lazuli? Lapis lazuli or sapphire, whatever. Maybe they can reform. What if they can bring back one of their people by putting those rocks back together? That'd be pretty cool if that's what happens next episode. So yeah, maybe they can revive Sapphire, or whoever that is. But it seems next episode's going to be called Hibernation, and it looks all snowy and stuff, so we're going to get to see winter there. So it's going to be really cool. Again, show has such a cool universe. I loved this. 9.75, you know, twin rocks. 9.75 twin rocks out of 10. Also, some other things we learned. Twin rocks can't destroy... It was so hard not to give this a perfect score, but I don't know. I want to be harder with my perfect scores. I sort of want to wait until something really, really hits me emotionally, but just know that, damn, this was a good episode of TV. But one other thing, we learned that twin rocks, if they collide into each other, they can't crack each other for whatever reason, I guess because they can mold into each other and whatever anyway. So yeah, they're pretty cool. I like Amethyst already. Hopefully they do get put back together and we get to see more of them. Maybe they don't find enough pieces and they can only have one body until they get more pieces and can grow a second body again. It's cool that Amethyst can even do that, though, because we haven't seen this power with anybody else. So yeah, like I said, 9.75 out of 10. Really enjoyed the video. Like if you did like it, comment down. Really enjoyed the episode. Like if you did like the video. Comment down there. Tell me what you thought of this week's episode, what you thought of my thoughts on it. Subscribe for more. Houseki no Kuni, Mahotsukai ni Ome, Shoujo Shimatsu Ryoko, Children of the Whales, Juni Taisen, One Piece, tons of things. Sub for more of that if you want. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. If you want a link to our Discord server to talk with us there about this show, just ask and I'll give you one. That's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.